Hello, welcome, I'm Hannah, and today we're going to be creating my perfect pink monochromatic palette using my indie single shadows. If you've been watching with a keen eye, you may remember that back in December, I made a perfect monochromatic palette with my red shadows, my orange shadows, and my yellow shadows. I've been meaning to continue the series. We took a little bit of an accidental hiatus, but we are back, baby. I am so excited. Let's switch over to my hands and dive right into it. Okay, I have my whole hullabaloo of palettes in front of me. I'm going to use this one to build in. I'm pretty sure this is what I did for the other palettes. I made like 15 pans. I think I should have reviewed this before. I think 2 of them were 15 pans and 1 of them was a 10 pan, if I remember correctly. So the plan today also is to do a 15 plan, but that plan could change if for some reason the shadows are guiding me in a different direction. I have been a little bit nervous about doing this one. And I think that's because for the other colors I've done, I know I don't own that many of them, so it was mostly a task of pulling out every red shade that I have and arranging it in a way that worked, adding in complementing shades that worked. But pink? I suspect I have a lot of pinks in a lot of different tones that I wouldn't necessarily like to see in a palette together. So I think there's going to be more editing this time, more like decision making this time. Again, my perception of my collection is not always accurate, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, I've been a little bit nervous about that for this reason. Nervous just feels like the wrong word, but I've been a little bit unsure about the process of making this video for some time. But today, we're just gonna do it and try, I'll try my best. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect, but I bet we can get a pretty good palette. So I already decided, I think I'm gonna try to keep it pretty spot on the money, on light pink. I love shades that are like pinky purple, but I just think I'm gonna stay away from them this time because I think having like bluish pinks in here with like true light red pinks, it's just going to throw it off a little bit and make my job more complicated. So this is where I still have my perfect 40 pans. I guess a couple have come out for various reasons since then, but I think this is a great place to start because here's some shadows that I love and there's some clear pinks in here. These Luxie mattes are like a little bit in question because I think of them as very pinky mattes, but they're not as true pink as other pinks that I have. Like for instance, this Glaminatrix one is also a light pink matte that I know I could use for my crease, and that's way more pink than those pinks are. So I think I'm just going to keep this one for now and we'll see how it goes. Divina Soleil's, of course. Cleona Palace, that's actually what I have on my nails right now. I have it over a pink base, but I love it. It looks so cool. In person, it looks so shifty. It like shifts to like orange and yellow and green. Love it. I'm a little bit tempted to lean into something like using this burgundy as like a dark option to add some, I don't know, to add some flavor in here, because that's like a normal direction that I'd go when using pinks. But even though I don't remember shadow for shadow what I had in other palettes, I want to try to stay away from shadows that have already been claimed by other palettes. And I know this was in the red palette. Nocturne Ash, tempted, but again, this is like a pinky purple. ColourPop Sincerely is a pinky purple. I think I will take the Shine by SD Fairy Ring. This is from the M. Jones 5018 and Bizarre Volta collab with Shine by SD. I love using this as a topper to give me like a holographic-esque finish. And I think that's where I'm going to cut it with this palette for now. This is my Luxie shades. And actually, I think I want to come back to this one because there's so many different options of pink. I think it'll be better to kind of like fill in the gaps when I can see the gaps. And with the other brands that I have less in, like, those are the spots that have to be, and then Luxie can fill in the rest. Hopefully, at least. That's the plan. Okay, let's see what we got in here. These are some shades from Menagerie and Adept. I do have this hot pink from Menagerie, but I think I have other hot pinks that are similar, so I'm going to leave that. ColourPop mattes, nothing too on the nose. Okay, Divina shimmers. Again, with tones, it's so difficult. I'm gonna pull this one out for now. I'm not positive if it will stay because I feel like this is a little bit, it's not even focusing, a little bit of like an orangey leaning pink. So I'm not sure if that tone's gonna go with the overall vibe, but I'm gonna take it out for now. That one was Neurites. And then these are, okay, I'm gonna pull out this one. This is a Divina shimmer also. This is in Amphitrite. It's like a pretty multi-chrome that it is very gold in the forefront, but you could definitely see that like rose pink base underneath. Also has like a beautiful blue shift, like it. I'm gonna pull out this one also from Divina. This is Sweet Slush. I might have other shadows like this. I don't know if it'll stay, but I'll pull it out for now. And then this Luxie Matte. This isn't Cherry Blossom. This is a very vibrant pink, but this could work as even like the deepest option in the palette, perhaps. And actually, I don't know if this will stay also, but I'm gonna pull out Virago from Divina. This is more of like a berry purple, but I'm just gonna pull it out for now, and we'll see. We'll see how it feels in there. Okay, here are shadows from Dandelions, Sydney Grace, Copacetic, and Electrum. What is this one? This one is Resting Beach Face. I think I've only worn this once, but I liked it. I'm gonna include this for now. Okay, here are shades from Shine by SD and Glaminatrix. I'm gonna pull out the hot pink. I'm gonna pull out this like, this one's almost burgundy, but it's also very berry. And then from the Shine by SD side, I'm gonna pull out Hottie. And maybe that's it. Like, I looked at this and I was like, oh, pink, but most of these are either purple or pinky purple. Okay, here are Terra Moons and my larger pans. Okay, I'll pull out Flare Star. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it out. For some reason, I just don't love this shadow. And I think there's like some crossover in this tone, like even Hottie is a similar color, but I'm gonna pull it out and think about it. The update on how this is looking very pink, and I like it. Like this is this is giving me hope that all of my fears were for naught. This palette has a lot of random shades that I've taken out for random reasons. Most of these are Luxie shadows or shadows that I recently compared with Luxie shadows. I want to pull out Terra Moon's Halley's Comet. I guess some of these are also shades from my April Fool's Day video. Hee hee hee. Mama Big Bird loves Halley's Comet, and luckily so do I. This is my Pretty Sphere face palette. I'll pull out this pink Megachrome. This is in Powerhouse. Cleona. Alright, I'll pull out Cinder. Cinder is another one of those hot pinks that I'm gonna have to decide between. We also have Cleona Adornment. This is much lighter pink. Much of like a, I don't know, I want to say like a softer pink, a less literal pink than a lot of the other pinks that we have out, but I like the idea of having that option. Not everything is going to be like a true bubblegum pink. And for my inner corner shades, some inner corner shades, but also a couple of these I took out of that Garden of Love palette from Shine by SD and Glam Smitty. Really been enjoying that, and I used the little like red 6-pan to travel recently, so these shades came out of it. I'm gonna toss this one in for now. This is Clandestine. I don't think I've used this one yet, but it looks really pretty. And also from Shine by SD and Glam Smitty, this is Celestial. I've been using this as a pink inner corner a lot. Yeah, that's fine for here. I pulled out some palettes. I don't know. This is the Bella Beauté Bar Dead Roses palette. It has a lot of pinks. Do I need these pinks? I think that one, at least in the pan, this one kind of looks like Halley's Comet. This one looks like that Luxie matte. This one kind of looks like the Glaminatrix matte. Actually, don't think I need anything from there. Adept Plain Jane. I definitely already have hot pink similar to this. Glaminatrix Rich Romantic. Yeah, this I think is represented also. It's like funny looking at these in this light because it's like, you know, figurative light because this one looks like Adornment from Cleona. This one kind of looks like Glaminatrix Fate. All right, cool. Makes my job easier. And it's funny, I don't think we have that many gaps. Like, I don't think this is as hard as I made it out to be, but we are back to the final palette, which is the Luxie palette. And maybe instead of looking at this as like filling in gaps, I'm just gonna pull out a couple favorites and yeah, decide between them. So I see Glass Wing here. I love Glass Wing. Gonna include that. I have some hot pinks, but I remember thinking that they're similar to Pretty's For Your Face Powerhouse, and that one's a multi-chrome. These ones aren't. I'm gonna just stick with Powerhouse. Oh, maybe I will pull out, for like a little bit of flavor, this is Cherry Bomb. This one, could one argue it's like a little bit purpley? Sure, but I feel like it doesn't fit the definition of like the pinky purples that I always talk about because it's a deeper shadow. And I feel like if I want to add a little depth, it kind of goes with like Virago. So I'm gonna toss this one in for now. And then also, who are you? Bubblegum, yeah. And for something a little bit more cool, Pixie Dust. And yeah, Venus. Wait, what are you? Jelly Bean. Oh, and one last thought. I was gonna close this, but I have Fruity from Luxie's last collection. A shadow I wasn't entirely impressed with, but I was like, maybe I'd get along with it on my lower lash line. I'm gonna put it in the palette for now, and I could keep it around and try to get some use out of it for my lower lash line. See how that goes. Not bad to have like an array of formulas in here. I'm gonna use this palette to do my deciding on top of. I'm like, as I'm picking these up, I'm like, this seems stupid. These are like the same palette, and they are, except this one has like the little croc thing going on, and this one's more matte. So the more matte just seems right to do our deciding on top of. Hey, baby. Yeah. Okay, I tried to divide these up into a couple different categories. I have my matte shadows, my deeper shimmers, my lower lash line shimmers, my more hot pink shadows, inner corner shades, light pink, mid-toned. There's definitely some crossover here and like palettes I kind of like put in between because it doesn't feel like it totally fits in with either category, but I just wanted to give myself these groupings to try to like organize my thoughts a little bit, and I think it's good. I think maybe I'll start with the mattes because I'm having some thoughts. My thought is Virago, yeah, it's not totally a pink, but that wasn't stopping me in the other palettes. Like, a good palette isn't going to die on the hill of every single shadow in the palette being like 100% on theme. Sometimes a fun thing about a palette is that it goes a little bit off theme, but still like reins it in enough to keep the theme noticeable and strong. And while Virago, I don't think this one's a martyr. It's just like a matte. Like, it's not as bold of a choice as, I think I put Mural in the middle of my red palette. I think that was a bold choice. I don't think this is that crazy of a choice, but I do think like comparing these two mattes as probably the options for the darkest mattes in the palette, I think I would get much better looks with Virago. So I'm gonna go with this one and probably vote that one out. And I also think Cherry Bomb looks like it would pair so nicely with Virago, so I'm gonna keep those two together. For the other mattes, I mean, I could change my mind on this. And in fact, maybe I won't make the decision yet. I'm leaning towards doing this Glaminatrix matte over this Luxie one. The Luxie one's just so bold and vibrant, but if there's room, maybe I will include both of them. Maybe I'll feel like the Luxie one goes better with the whole palette. So I'm going to defer this decision. I'm definitely going to keep Glaminatrix Fate in though for my transition shade. A couple other easy decisions. I like starting off the easy decisions just to like make the palette take shape, and then yeah, the same way I was trying to approach the Luxie thing. If I can go ahead with the easy decisions, then I can just plug in with the more difficult ones. So I'm going to include both of these inner corner shades. For other people who don't love a pink inner corner, this might be too much pink inner corners, but I love this. I think a lot of you guys already know. Divina Soleil's is my favorite inner corner. It adds like the prettiest pink glow that I go in with for like every type of look. I've had this Glam Smitty Chambre one for not as long, and this one's more of like a pink sparkle, like a true iridescent inner corner as opposed to this glow thing going on. So I do choose them differently based on the looks that I have going on. And then Cliona Palace is a no-brainer. Love that. Maybe my favorite light pink shimmer. Terra Moon's Halley's Comet. This one does feel like a little bit of a bold decision because it has so much blue in it, but I love it so much, it just wouldn't be a pink palette without this one in it. Are we already at the end of the easy decisions? I still have 5, 6, 7, 8 shadows to choose. I'm trying to just look at these in different ways to help with my decisions, and I think I am going to include this Luxie one, Fruity. I was just looking at all these and I'm thinking, what would I use on my lower lash line if not for this one? And I'm like, okay, I guess whichever mid-tone matte I choose, but either way, it will be very bold. Most of these shimmers are either too light or too flaky or both to use in my lower lash line. So like maybe if I include either Hottie or Cinder, that would work. But the point is very few work, and I think this will be a good opportunity for me to get to know this one a little better. Interesting how it looks like it fits into the purpley little corner better than the other pinks. I don't know if I'm going to keep these shadows where they are right now, but interesting. Maybe I will stick these both in the palette for now, and then I can take one out if I want to. Okay, so now if I keep all of these shades that are already in here, still in here, there's 5 spots left. We're definitely in some desperate need of mid-tones. Yeah, I definitely will just keep one of these lightest pinks, and then maybe something like 3 of these and 2 of these. Actually, that adds up to 6. Then maybe 2 of these and 2 of these. Okay, I've just been sitting here staring at these and I'm like, maybe we just need to do process of elimination or think about these in a different way or anything to get this show on the road. I don't think I'm going to pick Fairy Ring. I think a different day I definitely would. I'm just not feeling it today. I also feel like I love layering this one, and because this palette is so concise, nothing's jumping out at me as like the shade I would layer it on top of. If anything, these shades are like all good enough on their own that they don't need help. So that's kind of like a tool I'm not looking for. It's a screwdriver, and nothing here needs to be screwed. Okay, making so much progress. For the light pinks, so I've been looking at these lightest ones and I've been trying to think about what I would wear on my lid, but also I've really been loving kind of like tracing my crease with the light shimmer. So I've been thinking about like what shade would work for that. I think I want to include Luxie Bubblegum, and I think this works for the tracing. So knowing that, I don't really have to keep the tracing in mind for choosing my light pink. And I think I'm just going to go with Cliona Adornment. It's a pretty shadow, and it'll serve the purpose that I said it would serve when I pulled it out. It'll just be like a different option. So in that case, these other lightest pinks can be moved on out. And then there's 3 spots left. You know, I don't think it's going to be Luxie Pixie Dust. I don't think it's going to be Divina Neurites, just because of the fact that this just looks a little bit too orangey to me, like a little bit too coral. So that's good. Down to 7 shadows for 3 spots. Okay, I'm going to swatch the palette at the end when it comes to that, but I'm going to do little swatches of these just to try to help myself make decisions. So we have Divina Amphitrite. Ooh, it's so pretty. They're all so pretty. We have Luxie Glass Wing. Such a different vibe we have Electrum Resting Beach Face. Also quite different. Yeah, that one looks way more, I don't know, deeper. Way more of like a true pink in the swatch, but it looks super multichromatic in my eye. I mean, both of these two side ones do. Cleona Cinder, Pretty Sphere Face Powerhouse, Terra Moon's Flare Star, Shine by SD Hottie. Okay, this is helpful. I don't think I want either of those last two I just swatched, Flare Star and Hottie. They feel a little bit too, like, neon-y for the palette. I guess the only thing is that that would mean that they would go really well with this Luxie matte, but I don't think I need them. Right? Okay, I'll revise that to say Flare Star is definitely out. Hottie is still, like, a maybe. I also think Cinder, the tone of Cinder just doesn't feel totally right. And even Powerhouse, like, I thought for sure I'd keep this one, but that one's feeling a little bit blue. But maybe that means it would go well with, Halley's Comet? No, not really. Not particularly. Okay, so maybe actually Hottie is the only one that stays from those deepest ones. And then for these three lightest, I get to keep two. All right, and as much as I love Glass Wing, it's not as fun and vibrant as those two multichromes. And I feel like I already have Bubblegum, which encompasses the, like, I don't know, the little bit more subtle Luxie shimmer compared to these, like, super multichromatic ones. So yeah. Oh, and I wanted to put Resting Beach Face under Palace in here because I feel like they look like they would pair really well together. Like, they look to be a similar tone. Okay, I'm still trying to decide if this is the order I want to keep it in. I'm not completely obsessed, but I'm not opposed to it. I guess the only thought is, you know, I like these two being next to each other, but I could try to put these more neon ones together, but I feel like Halley's Comet wouldn't look good next to Adornment. That might be better. Yeah, I think that's the palette. I like it, and I know that, like, when I swatch it out, I'm going to love the individual shades that make it up, but looking at it right now, I'm like, if a brand came out with this palette, would I want to buy this? And I'm not sure. I think there's some monochromatic families that just attract me more than others. Like, if I remember correctly, I love the look of the red palette. I think I love the look of all the palettes that I already created, the, like, red, orange, and yellow. But I don't know if I'm not big of a monochromatic pink palette girl. Or, considering the fact that this really has all my bases covered, this is, like, everything that I need to construct a variety of looks, and I don't love how it looks overall. It might mean that if I were attracted to a pink monochromatic palette, it might not serve all the stations that I require of a palette. And sometimes it is just like that. I think I'm going to use this to get looks. I think I am going to enjoy this. It's just like, I'm not sure that seeing it on a shelf would necessarily call me in. And, you know, that's okay. That's the beauty of single shadows. I get to construct palettes, change my thoughts about them, use them, deconstruct them, and then reconstruct them into different things. So let's swatch this palette out and see what we're working with. Glam Smitty Shine by SD Celestial, Divina Soleils, Glaminatrix Fate, Cleona Palace, Cleona Adornment, Luxie Bubblegum, Glaminatrix Petal, Divina Amphitrite, Electrum Resting Beach Face, Shine by SD Hottie, Luxie Fruity, Terra Moon's Halley's Comet, Luxie Cherry Bomb, Divina Virago, Luxie Cherry Blossom. Yeah, I mean, as I suspected, the swatches individually all look so beautiful. I can see so many, like, different looks that I'd like to try creating with this palette, and that's the whole point. Getting a cohesive palette that looks good in the pan is kind of like an added bonus that we sometimes get, but it's not the whole point of it. So I still feel satisfied. These swatches are so sparkly. Let's switch over back to my face. Okay, let me zoom you in and show you what I have on my eyes. I like how I said specifically I was avoiding pinky purples, and then I add in one purple and I get a pinky purple look, but I love this look. I think it looks so cool. And if I had avoided Virago, it probably would look straight pink and not like pink and purple, but I really like it. I started with Glaminatrix Fate in the crease, and then I used Divina Virago for the outer V. These looked so good together. Even when I just had those two down, I'm like, this could be a look. It looked really cool. I went over the outer half of the lid with Luxie Cherry Bomb, and then I went over the inner half of the lid with Halley's Comet from Terra Moons, and they really kind of like seamlessly blend into each other. For the lower lash line, I continued Divina Virago down onto it, and then I used Glaminatrix Petal for the rest of it, and then I have Shine by SD and Glam Smitty Celestial on my inner corner. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's kind of been a while since I've had color exclusively on my eyes. I'll do a colorful lid sometimes, but even then I'll have more of a neutral crease, and I feel like everything, including the pink crease I have going on there, is like distinctly colorful, and I really like it. Again, like I said, I think I could have used Luxie Cherry Bomb in place of Virago. I could have kept the look more just pink, but pink and purple just look so good together. I can't help that, and it works. I love it. Here's the final look at the palette. I think I'm going to be keeping this arranged, dipping into it here and there. I'm excited to like play through other roots. I am excited to make a look that's like 100% pink and just kind of ignore these two ones that look a little bit more purpley. I definitely have a ton of options, and I'm excited to use Luxie Fruity on my lower lash line. I might regret that the second that I actually do it, but so yeah, I'll do that, and I'm going to say this pink palette was a success. That's going to be everything for today. If you enjoyed this, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I also have a Patreon I'll have linked down below. I also have a fashion channel I have linked down below, and I don't know if it's gone up yet, but I actually did recently film a couple videos for the fashion channel. I know for a while it's just been like one video sitting on there, and you know, that's kind of the whole plan, that when I have something to put up, I'll just put it up. But just letting you know, in case you're interested and you're not subscribed, that there is some more, you know, a little bit more content going on. So that's gonna be everything for today. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.